All right, hello. What an intro. Good morning again, Daniel Valdez again. Pleasure and honor to talk to you. Doesn't matter how you're listening to this. I appreciate the support. We got to talk about some UIL stuff. They released some more, not some more, but they released some contest guidelines, procedures, a little bit more guidance, sort of, in a way, about how contests may look and may feel this season, assuming we get to that point. We're gonna go over them. It's gonna be very interesting. It's gonna look very different, and it's gonna be a bit of a challenge for some programs that are deciding to compete. I'm gonna make that all make sense in just a second. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope y'all are staying safe. And I am just saying that so I can pull up the document. No, I'm kidding. No, seriously, be safe and please take care of yourselves. So UIL, they released some procedures and stuff. We're going to go over it right now and kind of give some context and commentary on it. So remember how we were supposed to have some new region, area, and state sheets this year, specifically state, completely revamping the how state is judged. Instead of just 3 music judges, 2 marching judges, you're going to have you were going to have a brass caption, a woodwind caption, a percussion caption. You were going to have individual visual stuff and ensemble visual, and you were going to have an effect, and there was effect category and all sorts of stuff. That's out the window for right now. They've went ahead and postponed it. We're going to use, hopefully, the sheets have been delayed until at least the 21-22 season. So that's next year. Hopefully they don't try to revamp it anymore. I thought this was going to be a really, really neat idea, especially for state. But there's just too much going on. So we're going to keep the same sheets we've always used for region, area, and state. That's what's going to be in effect this year, assuming we're able to get to that point. So that's a big deal, especially at area, and I'm going to make that make sense in just a few moments. Minimum performance time. People are like, UIL has a minimum performance time? Yes. It used to be 5 minutes, but for this year, it's been reduced down to 4 minutes. 4-minute minimum time for UIL show. This is to, first of all, there are some programs that are not able to rehearse right now because of county and local health organizations saying, or authorities saying, hey, don't do anything yet. We're still going to do distance learning, but rehearsal times may be cut down a little bit. That's that whole rule, making 5 minutes to 4 minutes, that's accounting for that. It's also going to account for if programs start the season and then they have to shut down for a week or two because the school is overrun by, positive cases or whatnot. So that accounts for that as well. So yeah, I mean, don't be surprised if we get to the point where we go to area and state and the show's only like 5 minutes long, because that's all. That everybody's situation's different, but that is something that is entirely possible. Programs could start late and then have to shut down and then may still consider going to contest. So I'm not saying all of the shows are going to be like that, but yeah, there's going to be, you may see cases where maybe a 5 or 6 minute show is going to be on the table. So UIL is just kind of relaxing the rules on minimum time. Entrance and exit to the field is expanded by a minute. Usually when you start off until 5 minutes, you basically do whatever you want. At 4 minutes and 15 seconds, the announcement comes on, so-and-so band from so-and-so place. And then right at the 5 minute mark, and this is like from the starting line, like, okay, your time on the field starts now, and then you go 5 minutes, and then at the 5 minute mark, the contest clock starts. It's like, okay, we start counting 8 minutes after 5 minutes, if that makes any sense at all. I hope it does, and if it doesn't, I'm sorry. Now it's been expanded to 6 minutes. So instead of 5 minutes, set up and try to do whatever you want before the contest clock starts, now it's going to be 6 minutes. So what does that mean? That means at 5 minutes and 15 seconds, the announcement will come on. Then at 6 minutes, you'll start your clock. You'll start the contest clock, and then you'll go up until 8 minutes or whatever. So obviously, that is in response to programs being socially distant, trying to keep their distance as they enter the field instead of a giant clump, instead of a giant, tightly knit block like you'd normally see, or however programs enter the field. So that's accounting for that. It's going to take a little bit more time for the students to get on the field. So there you go. Exiting the field, it used to be 2 minutes after you finish your show. 2 minutes, get off the field. You got 2 minutes to get everything off. You got to get it. You got to get it off. You got to get it past the goal line. Now it's up to 3 minutes because, of course, socially distanced. Remember, I told you this thing was going to look very different. So there are programs that are going to need to do that, especially the larger programs. I'm sure designers have already figured out how to enter the field and exit the field in a socially distant way. This kind of just makes it a little bit easier instead of, okay, we got to figure out 2 minutes to get people off the field when they're at a bigger step interval than what they would normally be at the end of a show or beginning of the show. So there's that. So expanded entrance on the time, expanded time entrance to the field, expanded time exiting the field there. Contest schedule. It's usually in a 15-minute interval. That's why I love UIL contests. The 15-minute interval, everything's either on the hour, at the bottom of the hour, or the quarter or three-quarter hour. It's always 8 o'clock, 8:15, 8:30, 8:45, and then, 9 o'clock and whatever. Contest organizers have the right to expand that if they need to. So you might see 20-minute intervals just to be sure that this has mainly to do with contest flow, just to be sure that all the parents from one program and all the staff and all the students are like way off the field. Not just, hey, we're on the starting line and we're just getting off the goal line. Like, we need them completely off the field. We need them practically out of the stadium just to be safe. That may be going a little bit overboard. I don't think so. I think you're going to see situations, if we get that far, when you go to region contest or whatever, where a program's going to basically own the stadium for their time. They're going to come in, they're going to set up, do their thing, get off the field, exit the stadium completely, be completely gone. The sideline will be completely clear. And then we're going to bring in the next program and they get to start on the starting line. So they basically would own the stadium for 15 or 20 minutes. And I absolutely believe that contest organizers will expand the time so that, we're just trying to be safe here. I mean, we all know how crowded those parking lots can be when programs are passing through one another and, buses are right next to each other. We all know how crowded that can be. So you need to account for that. So there's that. So contest organizers can expand, the time intervals between programs. So instead of 8:15, 8:30, so you might see 8 o'clock, 8:20, 8:40. You might do it on 20 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on how few programs go to your specific contest. Here's the big one. For the 2021 season, area and state contest will only be one round. And when that got announced, people's heads exploded. Again, our heads keep exploding, and they've done that all year. So let's talk about that. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, Texas, up until 2004, area contest was only one round. That was it. There was no final. There was no prelims. There was no finals. In 2004, they introduced it. But up until then, one round only. My 2 area performances. Remember, you rotate each year. So a senior will have performed twice at area, hopefully. My 2 performances at area, they were the 2 area contests that I went to. It was 1 performance. 2000, we went to Waco. I think we were in the last block. I remember the sun not being out. We performed, and that was it. 2002, we performed because we were having a bunch of rain on the weekend. Our contest got moved to like Tuesday after. Like, it was like on Tuesday. So I performed at the UIL area my senior year at like 2:30 in the afternoon during school. And it was weird because, I was supposed to be in school pretending to learn. Instead, I was out on the marching field. And plus, it was really convenient because area was at our home stadium. It was just down the street, so we didn't have to go very far. But so that's what's going on here. 1 shot for area, 1 shot for state. So the area thing, it's been a thing in the past. The state thing, I think there's always been prelims, finals. But it's a massive deal because I know how marching members think, especially at programs that are used to having a good amount of success. I know how they think, like, okay, if we could just get into the night show. We had an okay performance, but we're going to really turn it on in the night show, and then we're going to really try to get to state. There's none of that this year. You don't have time to ration out performances. You've got 1 performance at area. That's it. And that was kind of the knock on how area was done up until 2004. If I'm a really good program, or if I'm a really decent program, and I draw a 7:45 a.m. time where I've got to travel, 50 miles early morning, all my kids are tired. I go 7:45, and then the contest doesn't end until 4 p.m. There's a chance that my performance could get lost in the shuffle, and that I may not get the results that I thought I was going to get. That has happened in the past, and this is one of those things where you're going to have to be on the entire time. There's no, hey, let's make up for it in finals. Let's just try to get to finals. There's none of that. You got 1 performance, and you must knock it out of the park. It's as simple as that. State's going to be maybe even crazier because it's not 2 days. It's not, okay, we're going to perform prelims, and then they're going to announce the finalists, and then everybody gets to get, and then, we do the finalists the next day. No, it's 1 performance. And the reason we're doing that is to cut down on travel. Travel needs to be cut down. Because you're not going to be able to stay in hotels. I know this for a fact. Hotels are having a very hard time catering to large groups right now, just because they don't have the staff to do it. Another reason why is, there are a lot of districts that are not going to allow an overnight trip for a while. Even if it's in state, even if it's for UIL. And plus, that's an added cost for programs that are already struggling. Programs that are already having an issue fundraising to get, the normal amount of numbers you fundraise for. Those numbers are so skewed now because a lot of businesses that programs usually count on are not able to give as much or not able to give anything at all because they're just trying to survive. They're trying to survive. Their business is trying to not go away. So there's a multitude of reasons why it's only one performance. So you got to really keep that in mind. Here's another thing. I know, whether I've seen it online or people have told it to me directly, there were several programs. I know this for a fact. And honestly, I don't blame you. I know that there are several programs that maybe are not used to the amount of success as the programs you usually see on Saturday nights. And when those programs started saying, hey, you know what? We're not going to compete this year. We're going to not necessarily take a year off, but we don't feel like we can compete safely this year. I know a lot of the programs that are usually knocking on the door at finals, or yearning for a little bit more success than they've had in the past. I know that they were salivating at the mouth. Like, okay, this is our chance. We're going to be able to get in there. This program's done, this program's done, this program's out. So that means we're going to be able to walk right into finals, and we're going to be able to go into state contest, no problem. No. Everything in this activity must be earned. You must continue to work hard. You must trust your processes, and you must lay everything out every single day. If you think something's going to be handed to you because other programs are not there for whatever reason, you're wrong. And you owe it to the activity, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to the directors to continue to work hard in order to get the results you desire. I think this is going to be a lot more difficult, even though there are top tier programs that are not competing. At the area level, it's going to be very difficult to get into state. And the reason why is because there are a lot of... I don't think people realize how many programs are not competing this year. If I've done the math right, Area D is going to take 2 fewer programs. Because remember, the areas stay through 2 cycles. So the areas changed for 2018. That means they're the same for 2020. Area D took 6 programs to state contest in 2018. Well, guess what? There are, at least, as far as I've counted, there's like 10 programs that are not competing, that did compete in 2018. And a lot of those ended up making state. And remember, the amount of state qualifiers that can come from an area depends on how many programs make area. So as far as I know, Area D, that's 2 fewer programs are going to be allowed to qualify for state because the numbers are down. And by the way, that's an area that has Ronald Reagan and Claudia Taylor Johnson. And you'd assume those programs would knock it out of the park, and they always do. I don't think people realize how difficult it's going to be to make state. It's not going to be handed to you. You still got to work. It becomes exponentially more difficult. Now, is it possible that UIL could change the rules and allow more state qualifiers per area for this year only? Yeah, that's I'm sure that might be on the table. But then that means you're going to have more programs at the state contest, and that means more programs you're going to have to be responsible for, whether you're socially distancing or whatever. Assuming we get that far. So yeah, area, state contest, 1 round only. You got 1 performance. Doesn't matter what time you go on. You got to figure it out. It's going to be very, very, very difficult. It's going to be very difficult for programs because, there's not going to be that warm-up performance, and I put that in quotes. And it's going to be hard to get those other performances because remember, BOA and U.S. bands and pretty much every national marching band organization in this country is not having contests. So you're going to have fewer and fewer opportunities to get used to performing in a large stadium for people other than who are sitting in a football crowd. So it'll be very interesting to see how that goes down, if it goes down. Last thing. No retreats. No retreats at... There's usually not retreats at the region. No area retreats. No state retreats. That breaks my heart. I understand why it's done. It's still heartbreaking. One of the things I love to do, and one of the things I look forward to every year, is being able to go onto the field and shake hands with staff, let them know how great their show was, and get to meet marching members, people that listen to the show, people that write in and say, hey, thanks for shouting out my program, or hey, thanks for the support, or hey, I agreed with what you said, or even people that don't agree. That's one of my favorite parts. Just saying hi to people on the field after a long contest or a long 2 days of contest. And that's not going to happen. No retreats. You might get drum major. You might be able to have drum major retreats. I don't know. They didn't say that specifically. It just said I think it said no full band retreats, I think. I'm looking it up right now. Where is it? There it is. No full band retreats will be held at any contest this year. It's possible you might have the drum majors on the field, and you better believe that everything's going to be socially distanced. So yeah, think about that. Expanded time, so you're probably not going to be able to leave. Expanded time, fewer programs are going to be going. No retreats, one performance, which means you'll get home at a decent time, I guess. Your times are expanded. The sheets are the exact same. I told you this is going to look different. So you can kind of imagine what a contest would look like. And this is assuming, and keep in mind, we still don't know if fans are going to be able to go to this stuff. UIL said, oh yeah, you can do 50% at your UIL-sponsored events, but local health organizations can step in and say, hey, you're not getting together. So we get that far, it'll be really interesting. It's going to be different. But hopefully everybody stays safe. Hopefully everybody is in good spirits, and we'll see how things progress. Schools are starting to get back up, whether you're going virtually or whether you're going to be able to do in-person stuff. Whatever you're doing, do your best, try your best. It's a very trying situation. This whole thing requires a lot of patience, and we had it for a little bit, and I can kind of sense that people are running out of patience, and I understand that. I get it. That's normal. I don't blame you. Kiddos, do your best. Work as hard as you can. Not just the marching band stuff, but your regular studies as well. Parents, have a little. I know parents are like ready to rip their hair out and try to like scream at the wall or stuff. Do what you can to support your kids as best as they can, because they're dealing with a lot of stuff, and they're dealing with a lot of stuff other than being a teenager growing up. So they need your love, they need your support as much as they can. I'm done here. So far the contest rules for UIL. I'm sure we'll get some more stuff coming down once September rolls around, and once programs can legally, I should say, put that in quotes, when programs can like start learning drill and stuff, and hopefully everybody is abiding by those rules, because why not? I'm done here. I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for listening. Take care. Adios. Bye-bye.